So how do you know your worth in a relationship? I think we hear this term thrown around a lot of, know your worth, know what you deserve. That way you don't get mistreated or don't settle for something that's less than what you should be looking for. And it all sounds good, but I think it's a little bit confusing, particularly right now. It's hard to know what it means to know your worth. And so I want to give 6 qualities that we should all be looking for when we are dating that every single person deserves just by being a human being. So number 1, every person deserves to have a partner who tells them the truth even when it hurts. So this is incredibly important because if you can't rely on the person you're closest to tell you the truth at all times, even if they think it's going to hurt your feelings, even if they think it's going to get them in trouble, even if they think it's going to cause some conflict, who are you supposed to rely on to tell you the truth when you really need to hear it? And you really need to hear the truth during those difficult times. That is the most important time when you need someone else who's holding you accountable and who's willing to be completely open and honest so that you know that, okay, when I take a step forward, am I facing the right direction? Am I moving in the right way? Or am I actually getting further away from where I want to be because I don't know where I'm going? Number 2, everybody deserves to find somebody who respects their reasonable and clearly communicated boundaries. Everyone has different boundaries. There are acceptable ways to relate to each other and unacceptable ways to relate to each other, and that is different depending on the person. And if you are dating somebody who doesn't agree with your boundaries, but you have clearly communicated them and they're reasonable, it's not something crazy where you say, if I'm having a bad day, you're not allowed to talk to me, or I need you to communicate with me 20 times a day, or I need you to let me know exactly where you are at all times. Those are unreasonable requests. But if you look at yourself in the mirror and are able to say completely honestly to yourself that what I'm requesting, what I'm asking for is reasonable, and I have clearly communicated that to the person I'm dating, and they still aren't willing to give that to you, that's a problem. That is going to result in some real resentment and some difficulties in the relationship that are going to make it hard to stay healthy over the long term. Number 3, you deserve to be dating somebody who works to forgive you when you're earnestly trying to make amends. We're all going to mess up. That's just part of being human. And because of that, we have to be with somebody who's willing to forgive us when they know that we are actually trying to make things better. It's different if you are demanding forgiveness when you haven't done anything to deserve it, when you haven't apologized, or even beyond that, you haven't started taking actions to make sure that what you did doesn't happen again. But once you are taking those steps and you really are trying to make things better, if you're with someone who still won't forgive you, there's no way to grow together and move on in that sort of relationship. Number 4, you deserve a partner who behaves as much as possible in ways that contribute positively to the relationship. So you want somebody who really tries as much as they can to make sure that what they're doing, what they're saying, how they're acting is making the relationship better as opposed to worse. I think this one is pretty obvious. Because if you have somebody who's actively trying to fight against the relationship and lower the quality of your connection, that's not sustainable. Eventually, you aren't going to be able to carry the team completely on your own. Number 5, you deserve to be with someone who doesn't punish you for trying to do the right thing. Of course, even when we're trying to do the right thing, sometimes we mess up. Sometimes we don't actually know what the right thing is. But if you are honestly trying to do the right thing, if you're dating somebody who punishes you for that effort, that is only going to make you less likely to try in the future. And if you aren't trying to make the relationship better, because every time you do, they punish you, they're probably not trying to make it better either. And that is not a sustainable foundation to build a long-term relationship on. And number 6, you deserve to be with somebody who doesn't intentionally manipulate you. This is a huge one. I think the key word here is intentional. We all, again, are imperfect, and sometimes we'll do things that seem manipulative when really it's not on purpose. We're just angry and emotional, or we had a bad day, or whatever. And so we need a bit of grace here with each other and with ourselves. But if you have somebody who's consistently, intentionally trying to get you to behave in certain ways or say certain things or believe certain things, and they're doing that through manipulation, that is absolutely not a healthy situation to be in, and you deserve more than that. If you're not getting these 6 things from someone, or perhaps even more importantly, if you're not giving these 6 things to the person that you're dating, that means both of you are settling for less than you truly deserve. That you are settling for not living in a way that reflects your worth as a human being.